Hey everybody, welcome back to Coach's Corner. This week we're going to talk about deload. So what is a deload, Ryan?
Deload is when you take lighter weights for lesser reps or higher reps and you stop trying to lift as much. So deload is basically you're going easy, you're going about half speed, half weight. You're trying to let your body get a good rest.
Okay, so we use deloads for rehabilitation then?
Yep, you're going to use deloads for rehabilitation and prehabilitation. And by the time your body says, hey, I need a deload, you're probably pushing the envelope and you're probably getting a little bit too close to where you really want to be. Some people can do that because they know their bodies really well, and others need to have that deload built into the program so that they don't push too hard, the overachievers.
That makes sense. I know I'm definitely one of those people that prefer to have a deload programmed in every few weeks so I know I can push it and then I get a rest, push it and rest. But I've seen other people, like you said, who they just go, and then they tell the coach, hey, I'm ready for deload next week. And that seems to work for them.
Yep.
So ideally, what would a deload look like if you're a powerlifter?
The most frustrating answer you're ever going to get for that is it depends.
That makes sense. That's every answer.
Yeah, there's no exact answer to that. There's no right, there's no wrong, as long as it works for you. The easiest way to answer a question like that is to ask, what does a deload look like to you?
Okay. So
a deload to me is I'm going to do a main movement or no main movement for 50% and probably doing about a 3x3 or a 5x5, depending upon how badly that deload is needed.
Yeah.
And then I'll choose about 3 or 4 accessories and do probably about 50 reps with whatever weight I can do 50 reps at, and I'll do a set or two and shut it down.
That sounds insane.
That's just to get light blood flow going, get blood back in, get the nutrients and oxygen into your system, into the muscles, let them get that good little pump feeling going, but not tax them. Let them just be like, hey, we're cool, we're gonna relax today, thank you.
Whereas for me, a deload, I do a lot of band work on my deload, some bodyweight work. Depending on where I'm at in my programming cycle, I'll do some barbell work. But for me, it really is a mental break as well as a physical break. Allows me to get in, get my workout done quickly.
You brought up a really good point. Deloads are not always physical. Deloads
are very mental.
Sometimes your body may be cranking right along, but your brain's going, no, no. Yep. Yelling it, throwing out those big red flags. You can't focus. You're really, really tired. Tired to still be fatigued.
Yeah. And so that's where what we talked about last week about knowing your body and having the body awareness when we're talking about the free weights. It really fits with this too, because if you can't function in everyday life because your training is so hard and or you have other stressors going on, you're not going to be able to perform your best and probably going to get hurt. So I guess that's where the prehab comes in, what you're talking about.
Yep. So the prehab would be the pre-scheduled deloads, or even just knowing that, hey, my body's about to go through a heavy block, so I'm gonna deload for a week, let it recover, recuperate, super compensate, and get back in there and hit those weights heavier.
Yeah.
Or if you know you're about to compete and it's about that time, you sometimes might want to take a deload.
Yeah. Sometimes I even schedule deloads in when I know things are going to be really stressful with my job or with whatever we're doing as a family. So we'll look at our calendar and say, okay, we have this much stuff coming up. Maybe this week I'm going to do a deload, and that way I can focus a lot of my time and energy on those other priorities, and it gives my body that much needed rest, because I probably wasn't going to perform that well anyway in my training compared to if I didn't have those stressors.
Yep. Sounds about solid. Something to think about is, instead of using the word deload, if that's a bad word for you, think about like a reduced effort day.
Oh yeah, like an RE.
Yeah.
Okay.
That'd be a repetition effort.
Oh, okay. Well then, red E.
Basically, the reduced effort, it's going to be the same thing as a deload, except for you're not admitting to yourself that you're about to break or that you really need a break period. You're kind of just like, all right, you know what, I'm going to relax for a day and kind of go through the motions, let everything just chill out, but I'm still going to do stuff, and it sounds better to you for whatever reason to say I'm going to take a reduced effort day versus the deload.
Yeah, and we don't ever want to get our bodies to the point where they're about to break. That's not our goal ever as coaches when we're programming. It does happen though sometimes for whatever reason. Maybe, you know, athletes don't realize they're that close, or they didn't want to admit to it, like Ryan said. They feel weak doing that. So if we need to call it something else, it's still going to be the same thing. Our goal is to allow our bodies and our minds time to rest, recuperate, let the muscles and tendons and ligaments get a little bit of just the blood flow, like Ryan said, the oxygen, the nutrients to it, and rest, because your body can't grow stronger if it's not resting. That's an essential part of recovery.
Yeah. So you can only get as strong as what you can recover from, which deloads and recovery, or your reduced effort days, they can definitely help you recover faster, so
And
you can
keep
get
your
stronger.
motivation.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good reasons to do the deload or recovery time. You know, so pick whatever one that you like, but make sure that you're incorporating that into your training, or at least letting your coach know that you're getting to that point before it happens. Do you have anything else you want to say to that?
I think we hit everything on the head.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us again this week, and we're looking forward to talking to you next week.
And you all know what comes next, which would be like and subscribe.
Bye.